And welcome everybody. This is you like that?
Yeah, that
This
was
is
horrible.
this is the premiere episode of Hot Takes and Headlocks. We are your pretty deadly duo. My name is Joe.
My name's Xavier. The whole effing show.
Codenamed the X-Man as I call him.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm excited. This is this is a whole new year for me. We've been doing the Raw watch along for a bit,
Yep.
and this I feel like is kind of taking me. I'm very new to the streaming world, so this is taking it a little bit to the extra level for me. So I'm feeling a lot of feelings right now, and all this excitement, it kind of got me wondering, like we're talking about the world of professional wrestling, and I'm thinking about when was the last time, when was like one of the times that professional wrestling really made me feel something, like either made me feel joy, sadness, fear. When I was a kid,
Yep.
there were some characters that really just struck fear in me. Like the first time I saw Kane, like, oh my God, man, I was scared. So I'm thinking about times where I really felt emotional with wrestling, and I think for a lot of people, WrestleMania 40 really made people feel a lot, especially with that main event, Cody versus Roman, and
Yep.
everything that transpired afterwards. I think just for recency bias, I think that's everyone's go-to right now. But
Yeah.
I want to, I want to start this off just talking about one of the things that I recalled that I would say it's in my top three. My top three of moments or storylines or angles that really made me feel something when it
Yep.
came to professional wrestling. And the one that I came to, man, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair.
Ooh. That.
WrestleMania.
That
Yeah.
was one.
WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. It was a great angle. Ric Flair, he's on this streak where if he loses one more match, he is done. And it culminated to him versus Michaels at WrestleMania. And those final minutes, man, Shawn Michaels, he's he's tuning up the band,
Yep.
and he says those words, I'm sorry, I love you. Bam! Gets them 1, 2, 3, and Ric Flair. That was Ric Flair's final WWE
Yeah.
match, right? That was his final WWE match. That was the one that really just, out of all the angles I can think of, that was the storyline that really just made me feel a lot. What do
Yeah.
you think about that?
It's a great storyline. I mean, I think that was the first time I ever cried watching wrestling. Shawn Michaels
Oh,
says he's sorry and then kicks him and then pins him, and that's Ric Flair's final WWE match ever.
yeah, yeah. Some would say that you can kind of compare that to like what's that movie? Where you have the dog, he's old, and you got to put it out of its
Old Yeller.
misery. Thank you, Old Yeller. That some would compare that angle to that movie. Ric Flair doesn't. He knows he's got to retire, but he can't. Like you have, like somebody has to take him out, and that's when that sweet chin music comes into play. And man, and then just afterwards, man, like everyone showed respect to Ric Flair. Shawn Michaels is talking to him, saying something private to him in his ear. Ric Flair's family is there. Everybody's crying. He's crying. Oh man, like that. Like when it comes, like that. That is one of the examples when professional wrestling is done right. When it's done the right way, and it gets you to feel something,
Yeah.
that's when professional wrestling is lighting up on all cylinders, man. That is the thing that I love about professional wrestling.
It's great. It's great. Another storyline that got me in my feels was when Jeff Hardy first won his WWE World Title.
Oh, take me back to that, man. Run that by me.
Jeff Hardy, he's never won a world title. He's fighting for the world title. Then I think, on the top of my head, I think he was fighting against. If I remember, if it was Triple H and Edge, Jeff Hardy, Triple H hits the pedigree, or I think Edge hit the spear. Jeff Hardy hits a swanton on their back, pins 1, 2, 3. Jeff Hardy wins the title for the first time. Oh wait, Jeff Hardy.
Mm.
One of the greatest stories.
I remember that match that Jeff Hardy had with Undertaker for that for the ladder match. That definitely leveled him up, man. Jeff Hardy during that championship run, dude, he was everyone's favorite, bro.
He was the most.
Everyone.
He outsold Cena in merch and everything.
Well, let me look into the comments right here. So we got Florius Nation. Even if it was overbooked, WrestleMania 40 with the Cody Rhodes Avenger style was great. I
There
agree.
was.
I agree. And like how could you not think about the Avengers Endgame during that ending to that match, man?
The Rock. The Rock. Rock comes out. Cena comes out. Undertaker. Cody hits a triple crossroads. 1, 2, 3. The whole arena erupts.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
And the night before, he lost against Roman and Rock. So they have bloodline rules. So it just makes it even better because Roman had the advantage.
He did. He did. 100% he did. Um, Let me think. So the other one that I thought of that got me feeling a lot. And what did you know? It's another HBK match. Also a WrestleMania. That was HBK versus Undertaker 2.
Ooh, I remember.
HBK versus Undertaker 2.
That was a great match.
Going into that, did you think that Shawn Michaels was done, that he was going to retire?
Honestly, I really thought he was going to retire.
Yeah. I didn't think so, man. I thought he was still going to keep going. I thought that this was the end to the streak. This is one of the times that I was so convinced that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I felt a lot when it came to that match because my first Mania that I watched ever when I started watching professional wrestling was 1996, WrestleMania 12, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, and you got two baby faces that are completely different. And I found myself rooting for both, and I could not decide which one I wanted to win. That so for me, WrestleMania 12 holds a special place for me. It's I'm so biased towards it just because it was my first Mania Iron Man match and all. But yeah, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, that one that one really got me feeling a lot. I did not want to see Shawn Michaels retire. It was time, let's be real, like it was time. Um, he was up in age and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another one that really got me.
That was a good match. I'm just mad Shawn Michaels retired in a Saudi Arabia show, one of the worst matches of his career.
Tell me about it, man.
Triple H got injured. That's the end of his career.
Yep.
God,
Yep.
it sucked how they went out.
I could not. I will always remember Shawn Michaels as someone with having long hair.
Yeah.
To see Shawn Michaels completely bald like that without the hair, that wasn't Shawn Michaels for me. It was not. It was not, man. The comments are coming through, man. Everyone's talking about HBK. Floria's Nation. If HBK didn't retire in 2010, he wouldn't been a very good help for SmackDown, especially coming out of that 2010
Mhm.
draft. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
It was a
That
good
is a
point.
very good point. Yeah. Um, but he's doing great stuff with NXT right now, I would
Yeah.
say.
It's amazing, especially Vengeance Day yesterday. So good.
Yeah, yeah. It's I find my honestly, dude, when it comes to NXT, I find myself more engaged with the women's division than I do with the men's division.
Men division and the women's division is good.
Roxanne Perez, for example, she always puts on great matches. She was a great heel champion. I thought I thought that she was always a great superstar to watch on there. Mitch, NXT has the best women's division. Exactly, dude. That's what I'm saying, man. They have the best women's division. Better in a lot of ways. I would even argue and say better than the main roster.
I can see that, but the main roster's women division is kind of getting better. You got Alexa Bliss returning, Charlotte Flair came back, Becky Lynch is going to come back soon, Roxanne's about to get called up.
Okay, so you mentioned Charlotte Flair. So what did you think when Charlotte Flair won the Royal Rumble? Let's put it all out there. What'd you think?
Kind of knew she was going to win the women's rumble. I mean, once she came back, it was kind of obvious.
Yeah. I mean, look, she checks all the boxes, right? She is very athletic. She's got the name. She's got the persona.
Yeah.
She's got it all. I think for me, with it being the only the eighth women's rumble, I thought it was too soon for someone to be a repeat winner for that for the women's rumble. I think that we could have gone longer having new winners and then have us and have someone become a repeat winner for the rumble later on. I don't think that time was now per se.
I mean, we had Rhea win a rumble back to back, I think.
Rio won two rumbles.
Yeah, I think Rhea won two rumbles. Let me look this up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's look that up. I don't think that she won two rumbles. Anyone in the chat, if you know right off the top of your head, if Rio won two rumbles, let us know.
Oh no, she won in 2023.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
thought
I think uh, Charlotte was our first two-time women's rumble winner.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad if Becky came back and won it because that would have made more sense than Charlotte.
Mm.
Like they could have done Charlotte versus Tiffany without the Rumble.
Yeah, so we got Charlotte as the winner, and watching this past Friday night SmackDown, she chose Tiffany, which I think we all saw coming,
Yeah, we
right?
also
We all saw it coming. Do you think that it is? Do you think it's too soon for us to be, you know, up in arms, like, oh, come on, this is so predictable, blah 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 blah. Like you should have done it this other way, or do you think like, um, do you think like we should just the expression that I hear a lot nowadays is do you think we should just let them cook, right? Just let them do their thing. And even though it was the predictable choice, we're not going to get the type of storyline that we expect to come out of her choosing Tiffany.
I mean, we should just like let them do their thing for that. The Rumble, everybody think I feel like Tiffy should win the match at Mania. If she doesn't win, then everybody's gonna be mad. But Tiffany's a great champion, former NXT champion. Now she's a women's champion, which I thought she should have cashed in sooner.
Yeah, it felt like she had that for a long time.
Yeah, she did. But the fact that she did it on random SmackDown was good.
Yeah, man, and the way she cashed in, it felt new, it felt fresh, it felt like it was something I've never seen before.
I thought she was gonna cash in when she first came out, but then she swerved everybody, hitting I think it was Bianca or Naomi, and then they got the pin. Nia got the pin, and then after they're celebrating, Tiffy hits Nia in the back, and that's just a good story.
Yeah, yeah.
especially because
Yeah.
Naya's doing all the stuff with Candice LeRae. Naya's been leaving Tiffy out of everything. So then Tiffy takes what she deserves, takes the title, and now she's a winner, champion.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I remember watching that, and I was thinking like, wow, she outsmarted everybody, and even me watching, like, you think she's gonna cash in. Oh no, she's not going to. But wait, the match is over. Oh, she is gonna cash in. Okay, so it really think it really kept you on your toes,
Yeah,
and you really did not see the how it transpired happening until it actually happened.
because Tiffany didn't come out for their match, which was awkward because she usually comes out with them. And she comes out from the side of the ring, side of the barricade. Looks like she's about to cash in. I think she hit the referee and then she hit Naomi or Bianca, and then they win. And then she attacks Naya, and then which I think surprised everybody.
Furious Nation, do you guys think they should have Money in the Bank return at WrestleMania?
Yes,
You do. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
I feel like because Money in the Bank, the pay per view, it's not that it doesn't mean that much anymore. Like they could do that ladder match on Mania, and they would get a bigger stage and a bigger crowd. And every time they had a Money in the Bank match at Mania, everybody loved it.
Do you think that the change of scenery, let's call it, right? A change, like, from it being its own pay-per-view to being a match that's on the WrestleMania card. Do you think that the change of venue makes that match mean more versus it being its own show?
It would mean more because you got two nights now. You can do the women's and the men's on different night. And plus, it's Mania, so if they win the Rumble, they can cash in immediately. It'll be good
They
build for
could.
the story. You win at Mania because you cashed in. Then you have a rivalry with the champion. Goes on for months. It'll
So
be a
I
great story.
so I agree. I am actually on the side of it returning to WrestleMania, and it being part of the WrestleMania card, for a lot of reasons. I think first of all, the way that Monday Night Raws have been lately, where they only have four matches for a 2.5 hour show. I would. I, I would hate for that to be how a WrestleMania night one and night two card to be structured, and then you have so many people not be featured on WrestleMania. So that type of match allows for more people to be on WrestleMania, be watched around the world and everything. Like, so I like it from that. I like it being a Mania from that aspect. But then you also want to think about this is when it comes down to it, this is a television show, right? It's a television show based in the world around sports, and what happens with a TV show, right? It has a full season, and then all of these story arcs pay off on the season finale. For all intents and purposes, I see WrestleMania as the season finale of an entire year buildup from the previous WrestleMania to the next one. So it's the season finale. You have these story arcs that are finally coming to a head. We're seeing the end of a storyline, and now you have Money in the Bank, right? That Money in the Bank is, you can sort of view that as the cliffhanger for a season finale, where we see the end of these storylines, but now we see the beginning with the winner winning that Money in the Bank briefcase, and now you don't know what's going to happen for 1 year's time. So that's where, that's how I see it from a television uh, point of view. From a storyline point of view. So I agree. I think they should bring that back to WrestleMania.
They should. It's always been great at Mania when they had it.
All right, we got Scott. Scott, he says, I think Cena beats Rhodes at Mania, then drop the belt back to Rhodes at Survivor Series or the PLE that could be in Boston in December. That's a hot take right there, man.
That is a hot take because if Cena wins at Mania, I don't think you should drop the title till he retires. That'll be a
What
great
do you
story.
think? What do you think about belts being dropped? Somebody who wins the title, and then it's like, okay, I won it, but now I'm going to drop it. So now it's vacant, right? So, what do you think about that?
Honestly, I kind of like it because if they drop it, then you can have tournaments for the world titles. You can have battle royales. You can have ladder matches for the title if you want it vacant. A bunch of other matches you can do.
But doesn't that sort of like, I don't want, doesn't that sort of devalue the title? It's like, I won it, but now I'm going to drop it. You can just, you can just find a new winner through a tournament and stuff. Like, I don't know. I they've done it in the past, and for me, I just never seen that kind of execution end up working or sticking at the end. You build up for this to happen only for it to just, all right, it's over. I won it, and now I'm gonna drop it. Talk to you later.
I see where you're coming from, but I feel like now that WWE's in a new era, I feel like tournaments for the world title because you can have Penta in there, Drew McIntyre. You have a bunch of good stars, especially NXT call-ups that are going to happen soon. Trick Williams is going to get called up soon. Obafemi could get called up soon if he doesn't drop the title when he drops it. Ricky Starks is in WWE now, so him getting called up.
Oh,
Now the rumors that Malachi Black and Miro back to WWE. A bunch of other things you can do.
yeah. I think we should definitely hit on that very soon. Scott follows up with, I think that will be the moment Cena passes the torch, so to speak, to Cody.
I feel like Cody doesn't need the torch passed. He got it passed by Roman because Roman dropped the title. Because then Roman gave the title to Cody, and then Rock's been passing him the torch. But I don't feel like Cena will pass the torch to Cody. Cody's already cemented, especially in different companies, New Japan, ROH, AEW. Well, his AEW career was kind of mid.
Yeah, yeah. Furious Nation, I think Rusev goes back to Raw and Aleister Black goes back to SmackDown. Ooh.
But I
Well,
want to see Aleister versus Penta, though.
well, first thing I think of when with Aleister Black going to SmackDown, first thing I think of is Aleister Black engaging with the Wyatt Six. That's the first thing I think of.
Ooh.
And I think you got a lot of room, a lot of opportunity to be able to create something with that.
Yeah, true.
And then Alexa Bliss getting caught in the middle, right? Like I think the expectation is, oh, Alexa Bliss and Wyatt Six are on the same show. Oh, she's going to be part of the Wyatt Six eventually. Has to be 100%. But then you have an Aleister Black come in, another dark character, and she sides with him instead of the Wyatt Six.
True, true. I mean, that would be a good storyline. But I feel like if plus Aleister's wife's on SmackDown, so it makes sense.
That's right. Zelina Vega is on SmackDown.
And then Andrade's there. Aleister versus Andrade NXT was a banger.
Is Lana still in the WWE?
No, I think
No.
she was a part of AEW at one point.
Yeah, but I don't think she even has a contract. I don't think she's just I don't think she is on the AEW roster right now. So she's, as far as I'm concerned, a free agent, I believe.
Yeah, I think she's a free agent, but there's rumors that Lana and Rusev could return together,
Mm.
which I think would be good. Hey, bring back what's his name? The guy who said Rusev Day. Bring him back to WWE.
Oh yes. Um, what was his name again?
God, what was his name?
He was in the tag team. The Vaudevillians.
Yes, yes. Aiden English.
Aiden English. Yes, yes. I
Aiden
mean,
English
I would.
was such a good wrestler when he was with the Bomb Villains in NXT.
But wouldn't so like okay, so he comes back to WWE only to come back and do the same gimmick again. Like, do you think do you think WWE would be bold enough to have him debut as Miro as opposed to Rusev?
I feel like they're gonna do Rusev because that was his name, but I don't think they're gonna do Miro.
Does he own the rights to Miro, or is that an AEW
Yeah, he
trademark?
owns the rights to Miro, I think.
Okay.
But honestly, I think you can bring Aiden English back and Rusev, give him a couple months, and Aiden English does a swerve and then attacks Rusev, and they have a rivalry. But then English
Because
is a
take
good wrestler.
because take Sean Spears for example. He leaves WWE, right? He leaves that perfect 10 gimmick, takes on his own name, and then he comes back and doesn't go back to that old gimmick and is going forward as Sean Spears.
Because I think, was Ty Dillinger his actual name, or was it? I think it's Sean Spears' his actual name. So I think he wanted
Yeah.
to use his real name.
Furious Nation, the Redeemer Rusev in WWE would be cool, in my opinion.
Because he is the Redeemer Miro. So put Rusev in that. That would be a good name.
That would be a good name. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that, I think Rusev would have, if you were to bring him back and he's in the main roster, to put him in SmackDown and his first opponent, LA Knight.
Ooh. Or if Rusev comes before John Cena retires, do John Cena and Rusev again. 'Cause that was a good match when
I
they were
wouldn't,
fighting for the
dude.
U.S. title.
I wouldn't say no to that. I would, because that was a really good rivalry. I love that WrestleMania entrance that they did for Rusev with the tank.
Oh my
That was
god,
badass.
it was. It
That
was.
was
It was.
badass. Oh yeah.
I
Oh
remember
yeah, man.
the flag match where they had to put the flag on right on the top of the stage. That was a good match too.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was,
Dude, that was WrestleMania 31. And
damn, that was a
let me
long
tell
time
you,
ago.
dude, that's gonna be 10 years this year.
Jeez.
That was gonna be yeah, it's gonna be 10 years. Furious Nation, Rusev versus Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu, or even Gunther.
Ooh.
Oh, where do I start with that?
God.
Where do I start with those opponents for Rusev? Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu, or Gunther?
Put them all in a fatal four
Jesus.
way. Give me a fatal four way.
Fatal four way. Man, I want to see them. I want to see all of them fight Rusev one on one.
And then they all each have a rival each other, and then at a major pay per view, fatal four way for a title.
So you got when I see Braun Breaker, I think speed. Like that guy runs. He has so much speed on him. When I see Jacob Fatu, it's just agile. He can do pretty much anything. And then I see Gunther, hard hitting, chops galore, right? Or what about Rusev versus Bronson Reed? Woo!
Oh,
See, like so have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that meme where it's Mr. McMahon on on an office chair, and then you say one thing, that was like, okay, and then you say the next thing, he's like, oh, oh, and then
That
you
most
say the
awesome.
really next thing, and then it's like, oh, like that. So now, after you mentioned those first three, and now Bronson Reed, that's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
You mentioned Bronson Reed, and now I'm like, ah. But dude, but yeah, all of those superstars mentioned against Rusev, I feel like all of those would be classic rivalries,
I got
man.
another
Like,
match. Rusev versus Obafemi.
oh my god, man.
Oba has the power. Rusev also has the power and speed. You have them collide. Oh my god.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't, as long as it doesn't, as long as it doesn't take us to another ring collapsing moment. I feel like they gotta spread that out a little bit.
Imagine Obafemi at the top rope. Rusev gets up there. Obafemi throws him up and slams him, and then the ring breaks. That would be a
Woo!
great. That would be amazing. But the ring breaking,
Yeah.
the referee selling it like he's dying.
Yes, Rusev versus Obafemi. Woo! Says Furious Nation. Dude.
So good. That sounds
Book
so
it.
good.
Book it.
Book it,
Book
please.
that. But do you think Rusev would come back and they would just put him into NXT?
I feel
No.
like I feel like
No.
it's gonna be when Oba's called up though.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be when Oba's called up because him in
Yeah.
NXT. Rusev as Oba for the NXT title would be amazing to watch, but I don't feel like Rusev deserves to be in NXT right now.
Do you have Rusev return as a face or a heel?
Heel.
Heel. Okay.
He's always been a heel.
I mean I think he's stronger as a heel. I didn't
Yeah.
necessarily like his last run in WWE when he was a babyface and you had the Lana Bobby Lashley storyline.
Oh God.
I I did not want to see Rusev that vulnerable. I did not want to see him that down and beaten up emotionally.
Like that was bad because Liv Morgan was also involved, so it was like dirty Dominic Mysterio storyline, but worse.
I forgot
You had to
about
marry.
the.
You had to marry.
I forgot.
You
Yeah,
had to
I forgot about the Liv Morgan ingredient there, man, where she was like in love with Lana and somehow they had a relationship or some sort of run-in with each other. Like, oh my God.
it was so bad.
It was terrible, man.
But I mean, they
Terrible.
had good matches, but it was a terrible storyline.
But yeah, coming out of Mania, that entrance with the tank was fire, man. Fire.
So
The
good. And I think wasn't Cena coming out to like where a bunch of Cena people was that a different entrance? Oh,
uh
I gotta look this up.
no, that wasn't 31.
It was a good entrance
He did,
though.
that was a good entrance, yeah. But out of WrestleMania 31, besides the tank, the next memorable entrance that I remember was Triple H coming out with the Terminator endoskeletons.
Oh my god, that was a good. Cena didn't really have an entrance. They had a basic entrance at Mania that day.
Basic, okay. Yeah.
It was just him
No.
standing there looking at the crowd and then runs to the ring like he always does. Oh my yeah,
You read that one, man. You read that one.
that Cup story on Raw in late 2019 with Lashley, Lana, and Rusev was awful. It made Rusev look even more like a chump. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's not wrong.
Terrible
It's not
storyline.
wrong.
Terrible
So
storyline.
not wrong. Yeah. But man, yeah, that Triple H entrance. Oh yeah, memorable for me.
So
I
good.
thought it was badass. I think some people had a little bit of hate towards it, thinking that it was corny. I remember you had Arnold Schwarzenegger coming up in a pre-tape package. He takes off the sunglasses. His eyes are glowing red. He says it's time to play the game, and boom, we move to the stage, and Triple H is coming out. Endoskeletons around him. These endoskeletons have like guns, and they're shooting up into the air and stuff like that. I think that year they were coming out with a Terminator movie, and I think that's why
Yeah.
they worked with Arnold to have that Terminator entrance to for publicity for the Terminator movie. But I think they made it work. It's not my top Triple H WrestleMania entrance, but it was a decent one.
I also
My
think I also think because WWE had Terminator in a WWE game, so that was also kind of a partnership.
dude, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's kind of also the partnership. So I think that's why he
Yeah,
did the entrance.
my all-time favorite Triple H entrance, WrestleMania 30, Triple H versus Daniel Bryan, and he's got who we did not know then with him, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss,
Charlotte Flair,
and Charlotte Flair. Yeah,
which who became decorated champions,
yeah.
but we didn't know at the time.
Futures we did not know at the time. No. This was dude, that was 2014.
Gosh,
That was 2014.
that was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
How old was I? I'm 20. I was 9. Wait, no, I was 8.
You were 8?
Wait, I think I was 8. You said 2014?
Yeah, 2014.
2015. 14. No, I was 10. So I was born in 04. Gosh.
Wow. Wow.
Oh yeah, because I'm about to be 21 this year. That's why. Gang, I was 10 watching that. Jeez.
For me that around that time I was 27, 28 when that happened.
That was a good pay-per-view though. Wasn't that
Yeah,
also
it was.
that was also when the streak ended?
Dude, are we going to talk about the streak right now?
Well, let's not
Are
talk about
we
it. Let's
are
not
we going
talk.
to talk about it?
We don't
Should Brock Lesnar have been the one to break the streak?
No.
Should it have been Brock?
No, it should
No.
have been Bray Wyatt or Edge.
Should not have been Brock, man.
Should have been Bray Wyatt or Edge when Edge turned it down.
Chad, what's up, man?
What's up, Chad?
Thanks for stopping in, man. Chad, should Brock have been the one to break the streak? Should it have been?
It should have been Bray Wyatt. Have Brock lose that year, next year, solidify Bray Wyatt as a top star.
Yeah, because when Undertaker came back at WrestleMania 31, he faced off with Bray Wyatt, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but it should have been
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt who broke the streak. God, that was such a bad booking. I think everybody's reaction, the whole arena was silent.
Here's the nation chiming in. Honestly, Undertaker should have retired with the WrestleMania undefeated streak intact.
I mean, you could have had Bray Wyatt win, which would have been a good booking, but I don't think Roman should be. I mean, Roman beating Undertaker was Undertaker passing the torch. Because that kind of solidified Roman to become a top star. But it was a terrible match.
Well, I've seen in interviews Undertaker say that that was not his greatest match. He was not in the best shape. Um, and that's a match that he wishes he can take back, right? So I can see it. I see it from that angle. I just back then with the persona that that Roman had at the time, where he's the big dog, right? He wasn't the tribal chief that we know him to be now. I don't think that that's the version of Roman Reigns that we wanted to beat the Undertaker. I think had time worked differently and he was able to find that tribal chief character back then, go up against Undertaker, I think we would have been okay. I think we would have felt just fine with Roman going over on Undertaker in a WrestleMania match. Just not then with the circumstances that we had at the time.
I mean, the thing is, Roman said this is his yard, and Undertaker said this is his ring. So when Roman beat him, it solidified that it was his yard as a big dog, and that kind of pushed him because he didn't win the Universal title before that, and then once he did that, Roman was getting pushed and pushed and pushed to get titles.
Or we had Chad chime in. No for Brock. I agree with Xavier with Bray
Yeah,
Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt should have won it, broke it, because Bray Wyatt was such a good character. They did such a good thing with Bray Wyatt that I feel like Brock should have lost. And then next year you had Bray Wyatt beat Undertaker, and then that's his Undertaker's passing the torch to Bray Wyatt, so Bray Wyatt can become a big star.
Now, should it have been Bray Wyatt in his Wyatt family persona from back then, or would it have been better with Bray Wyatt as the Fiend persona?
I feel like it should have been the Wyatt family because that was such a good gimmick.
It was.
And then Bray Wyatt won the championship in the chamber. That's such a good moment.
I think I think that some may disagree, but for me, if it was Bray Wyatt to break the streak, I think it would have been better as the Fiend persona.
I mean, they didn't really do
And
it with the Fiend though.
they what?
They didn't really book the Fiend to what he should have been.
No, no. And I think the regime that we had then probably they didn't understand what the Fiend character was all about, right? So he wasn't booked the way that he should have been booked. But I think that the Fiend kind of like so I get a lot of Kane from the Fiend character. I get a lot of reminders of Kane, specifically Kane, who debuted 1997 during that Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker. He was a
red mask over his face.
yeah. I get a lot of that kind of Kane reminders from the Fiend. Super scary, hella unstoppable, right? Like that. I get that kind of reminder. If they had that version of Bray Wyatt going up against Undertaker, I feel like that version of Bray Wyatt would have broken the streak and gotten a lot out of it and been able to progress even further in a higher stardom up on
Yes.
the highest point of the WWE mountain for sure.
Steel Step said
Uh,
Wyatt family also gave some unforgettable Daniel Bryan moment when Daniel Bryan turned on them.
ooh,
That was so good.
oh my gosh, man. When Daniel Bryan was a member of the Bray Wyatt family, ooh man, that was good.
I thought he was
That
never going to leave.
was,
And then when he turned on them, it was so good.
but okay. So the Wyatt family has had two people join them in the family and turn on them, right?
Randy
You've
and
had Daniel Bryan and Randy.
Randy set their house on fire.
Randy set their house on fire, man. Come on. He sets the house on fire and then he backs away and just right? Like
Oh my god.
memorable. Oh my god. And I know we're not talking much about AEW right now, but if you compare Randy Orton burning down the house for the Wyatts versus versus what's his name? He burned down
Hangman
Swerve's
cleaning
house,
house
Hangman
versus
Adam Page.
out of home.
No disrespect for AEW, but WWE did that way better than they did with Adam Page.
Here's the thing with that though. I feel like the storyline with AEW was more personal because Swerve was going into Hangman's family, touching and talking to his kids. It was just a lot personal, but WWE did it better with the burning the house films. Hangman just sat there on a couch drinking beer.
He did. He did.
And then Swerve and Hangman's feud was so good. All their matches, the death matches, the cage match.
Furious Nation. If Bray was the Fiend going into WrestleMania 36 as the Universal Champion and took on Undertaker and still had the WrestleMania undefeated streak, imagine that with Bray going over and retiring Undertaker there, in my opinion.
Ooh, that would have been so good. Undertaker fighting for a title, then Fiend buries him. Well, not buries him, retires him, and he takes his streak. And Fiend does some creepy stuff, and then Bray Wyatt
Mm.
appears on the screen as just him in the Firefly Funhouse. And then he talks about how he retired Undertaker, and he says, "Let him in," and all the lights go off, and then Fiend's gone.
Mm. Yep. Yep. Magic, man. That's what I have to say about that. That would have been magic. Magic, magic.
It would have been good.
But for WrestleMania 36, we had Bray Wyatt versus John Cena in the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yes, yeah.
And
I mean,
and
everybody hates it, but it was good in my opinion.
so like I thought I thought it was creative, like we hadn't been seeing a lot of cinematic matches, right? Like uh don't get me wrong, like that wasn't the first cinematic match, right? Like I think before that, the one that comes to mind for me was TNA's The Final Deletion match
Oh my
with
god,
Matt Hardy,
that was a good match.
right? So it wasn't the first, but I
Wasn't
feel
it
like
Jeff versus Matt, if I remember?
yeah, it was. So it wasn't the first cinematic match, but I think that given what they had and what they were able to execute with at the time, I think the Firefly Funhouse match was, in my opinion, it was okay. But as far as cinematic matches goes from WrestleMania 36, I gotta tip my hat over to Undertaker and AJ Styles.
Yes, the
That was
Boneyard.
a great match. The Boneyard match. That was great. Furious Nation. That honestly would have solidified the Fiend and his Universal title reign instead of Goldberg burying him at Super Showdown.
Don't remind me of that match.
Uh,
I watched it in school with my teacher on the projector, and we both were mad. Because
so I try to forget. I try to forget that happened.
I think it was at 1 o'clock, or it was closer to 1 o'clock, and then I was in class, and my teacher was a wrestling fan. I was like, we had nothing to do. I was like, hey, put on Super Showdown. Worst mistake of my life. It was
See,
just
when I was in high school, there was no such thing as streaming, so we couldn't do anything like that.
yeah,
So I think that's really awesome that not only did you have a teacher that was into professional wrestling, but you guys watched it in school. What was it, like a study hall class or something?
no, I think it was English class, but I wasn't allowed to go to like the pep rally, so my teacher just stayed back. So we just watched wrestling.
Oh my gosh! Wow, wow. Well, I think you probably had a better time doing that than going to the pep rally.
Well, I'm just glad I didn't go to. I'm glad I didn't go to Pep Rally. I'm also mad I watched Super Showdown.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I try to forget the whole Goldberg thing with the Fiend. I mean, even Goldberg's match with Undertaker, that wasn't that great either.
I thought he would. I thought he killed Undertaker when he hit him with the jackhammer. That botched jackhammer. I thought Goldberg. I thought Undertaker was like paralyzed.
Goldberg had enough to say to go to Vince and do the right thing and tell Vince that Bray is the future and that he should go over.
Yes, I agree.
I agree too. um, Best Goldberg match.
Ooh, well, I wasn't born yet, so I couldn't watch Goldberg in WCW. But I feel like let me look up Goldberg matches that I remember. I gotta look this up because I don't remember no Goldberg matches except the terrible ones.
In the chat, let's hear everyone's best Goldberg match. I mean, he didn't have a lot of great matches in his first WWE run. Um, but if I had to pick one out from his first WWE run, I would say Elimination Chamber 2003 when he was gunning after Triple H. There were some good moments in that match, especially one where Triple H was supposed to come out of the pod
Mm-hmm.
and
When he
and
tried to break the pod the whole time, and Goldberg was they cut it, but in the original, Goldberg tried so many times to break the
yeah,
pod, and it didn't happen.
yeah. And then he finally did, and Triple H sold it so well. Like, oh my God, this guy broke the pod. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna destroy me.
But he sucked. He sucked to break the pod and couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
last attempt. But I feel like Armageddon with Triple H, Goldberg, and Kane was good. I remember watching replays of that.
Dude,
2003
that
Armageddon.
Elimination Chamber first one was in 2002. That match this year turns 23 years old. Money in the Bank this year turns 20 years old.
Which one?
Money in the Bank.
Hmm.
Money in the Bank turns 20 years old. The first WrestleMania it debuted WrestleMania 21.
Wait, so you're telling me I was one?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying.
God dang. Um, wait, was it WrestleMania in April?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, then I wasn't born yet.
What?
I was born
Wow.
in May that year.
Oh my gosh, man. Have you like gone back and watched these matches
Oh
that
yeah,
went on before you were born?
yeah. I suffered watching all of WCW.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Worst experience of my life. But I go back and watch old matches.
Well, yeah, that first Money in the Bank match, that was there was a lot of great moments in that. Edge won the first Money in the Bank.
Or,
Chris Benoit was in that first Money in the Bank match. I till this day I don't know if he was just really good at selling or if he was in really horrible pain, but the guy did some sick flying headbutts. He got hit in the head, he got hit in the shoulder.
because
Huh?
how what happened with Chris Benoit? I think he had CTE. That's why he was drove to that to do that. Because he kept headbutting everybody. Steel chairs to his head. His finisher was a flying headbutt.
Yeah, and he bled the hard way during
Yeah.
that match. He did a flying headbutt, soaring through the sky, and then the moment he connected, he started bleeding from his forehead.
You might not like
Oh my gosh.
people might not like Chris Benoit as a person, but you gotta respect him as a wrestler.
The first Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania 21 was freaking awesome. Shelton Benjamin was the highlight reel of those matches, in my opinion, hands down.
I remember the infamous Shelton Benjamin. I think did a springboard super. Shawn Michaels super kicks him. I remember
Oh
that.
yeah, that was a match that they had on Raw.
That was a good spot.
I remember from the first Money in the Bank match, never seen this done before in my life, but Shelton Benjamin running up a ladder, literally running on running on the ladder to get to his opponent, or maybe it was even to try to reach and grab the briefcase.
Nobody does
Oh
that
my
anymore.
gosh.
Nobody does that. They should start doing that again because those moments are clean. They run up the
Yeah,
ladder and then jumps and do their move. It's
right.
just a spot because the ladder's on the ropes. Usually nobody they just move it. But you running up the ladder and jumping.
And then and then afterward, and then I forget how many WrestleManias that match was on the card for before they gave it its own pay-per-view. But I do remember the first repeat Money in the Bank winner was CM Punk. He won two Money in the Bank matches back to back.
Yeah. See how many were at Mania before they made the pay per view. Looking up winners. Let me search this up. How many? It's not really. It's not really telling me.
Is that telling
No,
you all the winners of the Money in the Bank?
it's telling me all the winners, but it's not telling me which ones are at Mania.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm just gonna go through winners.
All right, list off the winners.
Matches. One. Okay, so Edge won the first one. RVD won the
Right.
second. I think they had because they had WrestleMania 23 was an any world championship match, which is how Money in the Bank it was originally just the brand, and then they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 6 at Mania with
Six at Mania.
Edge won, then RVD, then Mr. Kennedy, and then CM Punk was back to back, and then Jack Swagger won the last one at Mania.
Wow.
But the most one I remember is Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy.
What happened? So, Furious Nation, what happened in June 2007 with the Chris Benoit tragedy was absolutely some of the darkest days of wrestling. Great
Yeah.
in-ring worker to ever lace up a pair of boots, but what he did was unforgivable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a family man, and absolutely unforgivable for sure.
Not forgivable.
Awesome in the ring, awesome in the ring, but yeah, absolutely unforgivable for sure.
But what I can say is he wasn't in the right mindset. That's all I can
Furious
say.
Nation, Jack.
Unforgivable.
Jack Swagger was, in my opinion, the worst Money in the Bank winner of all time. Well, I mean, he at least got to do something with the Money in the Bank.
But I think
Mr. Kennedy didn't get to do anything. He ended up putting it on the line and lost it to Edge.
yeah.
But
Mr.
that's
Kennedy.
all just due to backstage politics, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But Mr. Kennedy winning it was a great, but then he lost it. But the thing is with
Yeah.
Jack Swagger, you had Shelton Benjamin, Christian, Kane, Matt Hardy, Drew McIntyre. Kofi, Evan, Montel, Montavious Porter, MVP, and then Dolph Ziggler. All in those matches, and
Oof.
you gave it to Jack Swagger.
We got to stop at Dolph Ziggler for a second because I was there live when Dolph Ziggler cashed in the day after WrestleMania, right there at the Meadowlands here in Jersey. I was there for that night. Holy shit. What a moment that was to be there
That
live for that.
great moment. But the thing is, I'm gonna say this with Jack Swagger. He might not be the best wrestler in WWE, but his theme song was good. On your knees.
Yep. I think he was at his best when he was doing the "We the People" gimmick.
I'm gonna say with that, the manager was saying some wild stuff. He is just a
Yo,
wild,
for
wild
real.
every time. But I was in my every time I was watching Jack Swagger when he did "We the People," I'll be like, "We the people." Put my hand on my heart and just start saying it.
Furious Nation. I heard a story where John Cena didn't want to drop the WWE Championship to Jack Swagger in 2010.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. It's Jack Swagger. But when he went to AEW, it's kind of where his career kind of fell off. I mean, he was with Chris Jericho, and then what were they? I forgot what they're called. But they were good for the
The
first couple months, and
the
then
Inner Circle.
yeah, everything just started falling down. And now Jack Swagger's a free agent.
Oh, I didn't know he was a free agent.
Yeah, he's been a free agent forever.
I think I thought he was doing something in mixed martial arts or something.
Jack Swagger news. Oh, he got released from AW because he went on a wild communist rant about Tony Khan.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's why he's gone.
Do you think what people say about Tony, he's not a boss. He tries to be your friend rather than being an authoritative figure. Do you think that's true?
I mean, there's a lot of things Tony Khan does behind the scenes that is messed up, like leaking the CM Punk footage right when, right, I think when he was on Raw or something.
Yeah.
He came back to WWE, released it as soon as he came back to WWE. Talked about having a premiere of it, which was stupid. But Tony Khan I don't think he's a good boss.
I mean, I don't. So I think in hindsight, I think that so if you're going to do something and it's going to be in response, or you're trying to badmouth somebody that's not within the company anymore, you can't really go anywhere with that. Like
Yeah.
you can't do anything. So
Yeah.
I think it's pointless from that standpoint. But I think that if I'm looking at it from a glass half full perspective, I would say that at the time it at least did get people talking and get people want to pay attention to Jack Perry.
Yeah.
When he was doing that angle.
After that
Um,
angle, after that whole footage, he became the scapegoat,
yeah, yeah.
which was a good gimmick.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But you can't hold on to that for forever. Eventually you have to move on from that. I think it was good from using it as a platform to kind of launch himself and get people talking about him. He'll always be connected to CM Punk in that in that type of way, but you got to move on from that. You can't stay with that the entire time.
Yeah, but I'm saying the reason I don't like Tony Khan is because he's keeping Ray Phoenix and he's not doing anything. You're saying it's injury. You're saying it's an injury thing. That's why Ray Phoenix
Right.
is doing AEW. That's the only reason.
Right.
Because they didn't want WWE to get Penta and Ray Phoenix and let the Lucha Bros run wild in WWE.
Right. Dude, it's just a matter of time. We're gonna see Ray Phoenix and Penta together in WWE. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
I don't even care if they're as a tag team. I want to see them fight again. I want to see them fight each other again. They always have good matches one-on-one.
I was I was there live also for Lucha Bros going up against Jack Perry and Luchasaurus, and that was when Luchasaurus and Jack Perry won the tag titles from the Lucha Bros.
Yeah,
That was a great match.
Remember that?
Great match.
The
Yeah.
other match from them is AEW when the Young Bucks fought the Lucha Bros in the cage.
Oh,
That's still one of my favorite matches. I think it's still the best match in their history. That or Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Championship.
yeah. Jeffrey chiming in. I hear Ray and TK are actually working to release him.
I hope.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. Yep. All right, guys. We are going to end it here for now. I unfortunately have some things I need to take care of tonight. X, I think this was a great first time, and I think we're just going to continue. We're going to come back at this, and we're going to have some more hot takes that we're going to talk about. And we appreciate everyone coming on, chiming in. Yes, thank you so much. We will be back again to do this, and yeah, man, thank you very much for coming on, talking to me about this. I had a great time.
Me too.
All right. Catch you, man.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we'll catch you all next time. Have a good rest of your Sunday night.